So this kit's supposed to be designed for the LS swapped G bodies, and I have a LS swapped G body, 85 Monte, and the driver's side header does not work. Alright, so I was finally able to clean up the garage a little bit, get everything somewhat organized, a lot less clutter. Got the 2.4 liter turbo motor for the baby Bentley out of the Blazer. Got the 6.0 over there on the engine stand. Cleaned up some of the box of parts I have and everything. Just threw them on that side. Kind of messed up myself. Didn't leave enough room to get the bike back through, but just parked the Elko a little bit farther back. A little bit more organized back there. But everything's mocked up for now. Nothing's torqued down. I'm still think I need to adjust the engine itself a little bit, but just threw it up on all four ramps, just so when I do any work underneath, I'm not having to keep lifting the car up, crawling up underneath it. I'll just leave it up on all four ramps for now, keep it that height. This video I'll go over pretty much all the parts I have in stock, and the major problem I ran into with the On3 kit. So this kit's supposed to be designed for the LS swapped G bodies, and I have a LS swapped G body, 85 Monte, and the driver's side header does not work. I tried it with the brake booster on. I thought it was just hitting the brake booster at first, and I threw it on with the steering shaft, and it's hitting the steering shaft also. So the way this header's set up right now, and I don't know if it's because of the Jeep steering shaft versus the original steering shaft or what, but it hits both the brake booster and the steering shaft. So I contacted On3 about it, sent them an email. Well, I called them first, then they said just send them an email. They got back to me saying that with the 900 horsepower kit that I have, it's supposed to clear the brake booster, but the 1300 horsepower kit, you have to either convert to manual brakes or hydro boost. I've already ordered a manual brake kit, but that was before I found out that it didn't clear the steering shaft also. So they got back to me with an email saying that it's a problem that they're aware of, that they're trying to fix, but that most guys just dent the brake booster, and I don't see the logic in denting the brake booster. But hey, I've heard people denting headers, but the brake booster, that's a little iffy. But in their response, they didn't say anything about the steering shaft. So what I'm gonna do is just have a buddy come over who's a lot better welder than me, so mine won't look nearly as good. But we'll figure out what we have to cut, and it's probably just this one right here. All right, let me turn the camera around. So I'll probably have to cut this section and figure something out, just reroute it differently, and then while we're at it, might as well just probably cut this one and tuck it in a little bit also for more clearance. But I have a couple clips I'll throw up in this video on when I try to put it in with the brake booster without the steering shaft, and then when I try to put it in with the steering shaft without the brake booster, and they were both hitting. Like I said, steering shaft hits that one, brake booster hits that one. So driver's side header needs some modifications, but as far as the passenger side goes, I've tried to slide it in, I've tried to go in from the top, from the bottom. It will not clear the brake booster. So I'll show you guys what I'm talking about here in a second. So let's see if that stays there. So I've tried going from the top, won't fit. Try to slide it in this way, nothing. So, yeah, the passenger side turbo header for the On3 kit will not clear the brake booster. Maybe if it's a little bit smaller, it might, but I can't get to clear. I don't think it will clear. Alright, so I had another video made up about just explaining how it doesn't, with the turbo headers from the On3 kit, how it did not clear the brake booster. So I sent them a message on Instagram. I'm still waiting to hear back from them. I don't know if this video will be up before or after, or if I explain it after, but I'm gonna record it now because I'm a little heated. It does not clear the steering shaft either. Now this is a Jeep style steering shaft from like a 94 Cherokee. It's supposed to give more clearance for headers and everything. However, you see that it hits off this header. With the brake booster, it hits this one. Now I tried getting it in with the brake booster in, even taking the brake booster out, and then trying to install it after, but I forgot to hook up the steering shaft, so I put that up, and it does not clear the steering shaft either. So in the email I got back from On3, they said that they were working on a new header design, but it won't be out till the summer. So who knows when you guys will see that, if you are interested in the kit. If not, just keep in mind that you're probably going to have to modify it. When I talked to them on the phone, they asked if it was changed from what the Maka vehicle they had, which I believe was a Monte Carlo SS. So I don't know if it's different motor mounts. They couldn't recall off the top of their head if it was like the Holly mounts or what, but these are the UMI motor and engine mounts. Had the dirty dingo mounts on the Elco. So just looking at it on the Elco, I did some just rough measurements, and it was the same. It would have been hitting anyway. Well, it would have been hitting the brake booster and the steering shaft also. I thought about taking this one off. That son's a killer. But thought about taking the driver's header off the Elco and see if it fit, but with the rough measurements, it wasn't even going to be close. So like I said, I'm gonna modify it. Other than the driver's side header, passenger side fits pretty good. There's no close clearance to any of the suspension once the turbo is mounted all the way. I might wrap the downpipe just to be safe, so it doesn't heat up and melt these wheel wells, but for the most part should be plenty of clearance back there. I am going to run a full exhaust, so it's coming straight off the back, and I think I'm going to do kind of what the CTSV coupes have with a center exit exhaust, and I may even run it through the bumper. So that's the plan. I've seen it on a few other cars, so that's kind of what I'm thinking about doing. Like I said, I still have to figure out the cold side, so all that stuff will come at a later date, including the intercooler. So that'll probably be mocked up later this week or next week, and I'll try to get the videos out to you guys as much as I can. I usually try to stick to once a week with my videos, but with this content and the problems I'm running into, I try to up it a little bit, just so you guys aren't wondering, like, you see the mock-up or just click on the video, you just see the driver's side all mocked up and everything, but then you don't stay long enough to figure out what's going on with the passenger side. So try to keep the videos coming as much as I can, maybe every 3 or 4 days rather than once a week. But other than that, just waiting on other parts to come in. Like I said, I have drive shaft lube. My order is a Walboro 450. I'm not saying Walboro on any of this stuff, but it's a 450 fuel pump. I had a 255, but for the power and then the forced induction and all that, I didn't want to starve the fuel system, so I bumped it up a little bit. I had some dash 6 line already ordered up, but like I said, with the power goals and then the turbo setup, I decided to step it up to dash 8. So still waiting for the dash 8 lines to come in. So first it's too dark, then it's not bright enough. So I have all the dash 6 lines and all these connectors and everything. Same thing with the Corvette style regulator. I will not be using the Corvette style regulator or the 255 fuel pump. I have a fuel pump wiring harness. Like I said, all types of AN connectors. So the dash 6 lines, I will use it, but that'll be more for the return line and the transmission cooler lines. Like I said, I have the transmission cooler there, so it's a remote style transmission cooler. So when I do order the radiator and fan combo, I'm not going to hook the transmission cooler up to it. It's going to be a standalone. I actually contacted them, sent them an email, let them know what I was running as far as like the motor goes, the rear gears and tire size, see what they recommended, and this is the one they recommended. I'll go over it all at a later date when I'm ready to install this. But yeah, there's just a few other things in there. Like I said, I'm still waiting on parts. I'm going to use the stock sending unit, but I'm going to, of course, clean it up, put AN fittings on the feed, the return, and the vent, and then obviously swap out the fuel pump. But let's see, I think that might be, that's most of it. I'll still have to climb up underneath, get things like the measurements for the drive shaft and put that cover on the transmission. But it's not a whole lot, but it's going to be a little time consuming just figuring out some of the problems I'm definitely going to run into along the way. Like I said, this is probably going to be the major setback, is that driver's side header. Other than that, this is the first time that a hood has been installed on it since I've had the car. I did a mock-up where I just laid it on there, but the hood is all mocked up. I still have to adjust it a little bit, like I still have to adjust the fenders and everything and the doors, but it's looking good. I said when I first threw the hood on, probably stood and just stared at it for probably about 5 minutes. It's like, man, it's gonna look good. But yeah, so like I always say, if there's something I haven't done yet that you guys want to see me pay attention to when I get to it, just let me know either in the comments or hit me up on Instagram, just under Dash's Garage. And when I get to it, I'll try to focus on it some more. I know I've had a few people hit me up about the wiring. Of course, for the engine, I'm going to do the Terminator X Max. Just have to order my fuel injector so I know which kit to order because I think it's based off the crank position sensor and your fuel injector type with the connectors. So need to get on that because I think those are pretty much back order, like a month and a half out from shipping. So I should probably go ahead and order it sooner than later. But as far as the body wiring harness, I'm still not sure exactly which one I'm gonna go with, either painless or American Auto wire. I need to call both of them, see which kits they recommend, because just Googling it, I don't see anything specifically for G-body or 85 Monte Carlo. There's a bunch of universal kits they have, like different size circuits and everything, so probably call them, see what they recommend, and then order that also. I know I've had a few people ask me about the wiring, so I'm still holding off on that, and I'm still waiting for Warren G-body or Elko Warren. So I'm thinking going by Warren G-body now. I've been talking to him because he's at that stage on his one of his builds, so I'll see what he does and how hard it is to do, and then I'll go from there. What else? But yeah, if there's something I haven't done yet that you guys want to see, just let me know, because I've pretty much touched every nut and bolt on this thing. Everything's been off the car except the rear glass. Yeah, so pretty much at the end of the build, you should be able to just go back and do any part on your car that you want to touch up or switch out. Pretty much the whole series. It's going to show you how to build a G-body. Yeah, so from tail lights to headlights, top to bottom, I've pretty much covered everything so far up to this point, and I'll cover everything beyond the points when it hits the road, and I'll keep going from there. Of course, see what the build actually does, but I'm not trying to get ahead of myself. It's still probably, with all the parts I still need and everything, it's probably still 3 or 4 months out from actually getting wired up, getting all the parts I need for it, and attempting to crank it up. So just stay tuned. I know I'm coming up on 1,000 subscribers. I think at the time of recording this, I'm at 975, so just need 25 more before I get that 1,000 mark, get monetized. So if you haven't done so yet and you stuck around this long in the video, hit that subscribe button. Let's keep the channel growing. So yeah, that's a look at it. Just pretty much just updating you guys about the driver's side header not fitting, hitting the brake booster and the steering shaft. Like I said, I will be converting over to manual brake setup, but I'm still gonna have to do something about the steering shaft. But yeah, that's it. It's looking good in there. Like I said, I still need to tweak it a little bit, but for the most part, it's gonna be a clean build. Yeah, so been rambling long enough. I'm gonna cut the video off and get on to the next one.